Red mic 1, 2. Green mic 1, 2.
Every other day, every other day, every other day, every other day of the week is fine, yeah. But whenever Monday comes, you can find me crying all of the time. Monday, Monday, so good to me. Monday morning, it was all I hoped it would be. But Monday morning couldn't guarantee that Monday evening you would still be here with me. Every other day, every other day, every other day, every other day of the week is fine, yeah. But whenever Monday comes, you can find me crying all of the time. Monday, can't trust that day. Monday, it just turns out that way. Oh, Monday, won't go away. Monday, it's here to stay. mí se diga, vive usted su vida, que yo vivo la mía. Que solo es una, disfruta el momento, que el tiempo se acaba y para atrás no verá. Bebiendo, fumando y jodiendo, sigo vacilando de party todos los días. Y cielo.
Siempre la móvil la tenemos prendida. Vengo a mandarle hasta que se haga de día. Sigo rulito que es la mía. Salió el sol, prime la boca y el alcohol. Impréndelo, esto se salió de control. Y síguelo. Todo el mundo en patilla en la discoteca. Beba y agua para la seca. Todo el mundo en patilla en la discoteca.
pray you catch a wave that doesn't subside. This for the nappy heads in heaven, with a nappy head Christ by their side. I pray you catch a wave that doesn't subside. This for the nappy heads in heaven, with a nappy head Christ by their side. Yeah. May your streets be paved with gold. Yeah. Hope my whole hood make it home. Yeah. May your streets be paved with gold. Yeah. Hope my whole hood make it home. Yeah. Cause the world can be toxic, especially when your skin look like chocolate. At one point they sold us for profit, but we made it out of the gauntlet we chosen. Yeah. On my mama, the south side still holding. Yeah. Go for broke for the ones that are broken. Yeah. Please don't make me no hashtag or slogan. My whole hood is golden. That's why I pray you catch a wave that doesn't subside. This for the nappy heads in heaven, with a nappy head Christ by their side. I pray you catch a wave that doesn't subside. This for the nappy heads in heaven, with a nappy head Christ by their side. Yeah. May your streets be paved with gold. Yeah. Hope my whole hood make it home. Yeah. May your streets be paved with gold. Yeah. Hope my whole hood make it home. Yeah. Cause they riding with choppers. It might turn your table to pasta. Don't hardly see daughters at altars. Probably cause there ain't no more fathers, they stole them. Yeah. Put in cages by racists patrolling. Yeah. The hood is a lane to the pinch like we bowling. Yeah. Please don't make us no hashtags or slogans. Black people are golden. That's why I pray you catch a wave that doesn't subside. This for the nappy heads in heaven, with a nappy head Christ by their side. I pray you catch a wave that doesn't subside. This for the nappy heads in heaven, with a nappy head Christ by their side. Yeah. May your streets be paved with gold. Yeah.
Wait, you said
Hope my whole hood make it home. Yeah. May your streets be paved with gold. Yeah. Hope my whole hood make it home. I hope you make it home. I hope you make it home.
hello, 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 and welcome, beloved creatures. It's so good to have you here again for the NETneXt NOLA, the final day of this Circle Up together, though this work will continue beyond. Thank you once again for being present for NETneXt New Orleans, NETneXt Bulbancha. Folks, feel free to ground yourselves as you're eating your breakfast. We are so thankful once again to have Nana Fofie grounding us in this space, grounding us in spirit, grounding us with our ancestors as we work and continue to co-create our future together with the wisdoms of the past, present, and future. So in your time and grace, give yourselves the things in your bodies, the things that they need. And also, we will give our spirits those things too. Nana?
Machem, good morning, everyone. Escoren. I won't interrupt everyone. I see we're still enjoying some lovely, lovely food. Once again, thank you to Arisnola for amazing food. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to everyone who doesn't live here and have this down the street, because we sure are grateful. Absolutely. So first of all, just taking a moment in gratitude, in breath. There was some incredible wisdom and sharing and offerings and exchange yesterday. Taking a moment in your body, in our reefs of boundless eknumumba, the worlds that we created. So I know that we are eating, but I also want us to get up for just a moment to get into our bodies. Today is our final day of this gathering. And I want to see who likes playing things. I've got some things on this altar to play. Who likes playing things? I've got tambourines. Please come on up. Anything that you see that looks like an instrument to play, please come on up and grab an instrument to play. So in addition to all the wisdom of yesterday, I want to call in the amazing wisdom by that speaker again of Rad, which is why I do what I do. There is no art, there is no creativity without spirit, without the reverence, without the knowledge, without connection. There is no creativity without creator. However we believe, whatever we believe in, whatever is the spirit that is around us. So we take a moment to give thanks to the elemental energies. I'm going to get out of their way. And thinking about the worlds that you created, who wants to get us started? Just start a beat and join in. I love working with theater people because y'all already know how to do all this. Think about how you felt in the reef. Think about how you felt in boundless. Think about how you felt in eknumumba. I'm just going to rename it. How'd you feel in your body? I saw connection. I saw freedom. I saw freedom. I saw freedom. So bringing a freedom song that also was redone by one of New Orleans' own, John Baptiste. We're gonna do a move, make a sound. What does it feel like? And it's also a call and response. When I move, it feels like, and everybody say, freedom. One more time. I lied again. All right. So when you felt in those worlds, when I move my body, it feels like I don't know why, but it feels like freedom. When I move, it feels like when I make this noise, make a noise. It feels like freedom. And I don't know why, but it feels like When I make this noise, when I make this noise, it feels like, and when I shake like this, it feels like, when I shake like this, it feels like, I don't know why, but it feels like, when I move like this, it feels like, when I shake like this, it feels like, I don't know why, but it feels like, when I see your face, I know it feels like, when we're in this place, it feels like, I don't know why, it feels like, when I'm in my breath, it feels like freedom. When I hold my heart, I know it feels like freedom. I don't know why, it feels like freedom. Thank you, everyone. So we say Medasi this morning as we can continue to make noise, if you like. Calling in Onyame Nyokton Udumakuma, calling in Creator, calling in Asasaya. What are your names for Creator? What are your names of your ancestors? Please speak aloud and call them in, whatever they are, whoever they are, call them in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Who else? I know we got a lot in here. Thank you. Sankofa. Asurjabi. Anybody else? Ancestors. Thank you. Thank you. Gwendolyn, Miriam. Thank you. Stratford. Ibrahim. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We say Medawasio. We say Medawasi to those who we call in, to those who guide us, our creativity, our inspiration, and our collective freedom. Medasi. my goodness. Thank you for that beat. Thank you for that song request yesterday. Ask and you shall receive.
Truly. Truly.
Well, thank you for that gift of that magic moment. Appreciate you. Y'all, we've arrived day 3. How are you feeling, Severin?
I'm feeling bubbly and curious. Grateful. I had said I wanted to do some dancing today, and again, ask and ye shall receive. So grateful for the generous offering that you also brought for us, Nana Fofie, continuing to ground here in the land with our ancestors, being called to call forth those names out loud with our breath so that they can hear us. Thank you.
Yes, y'all are killing it. You are killing it. Thank you. Well, y'all, this is the third and final time I get to say welcome to the day. In the words of Icon last night, we are here. We are here. We have a little bit of housekeeping to start with. Maybe not housekeeping, let's just call it grounding. We got some grounding to start with.
Yeah, we have a full day, and we have to be out of this space by 1 p.m. on the dot because there is a show that follows, a show that is sold out. Hell yeah. Let's see, I don't know if it's open, but I also want us to lift up and visit the community bookstore, right next door on break. I mean, listen, Dan got an incredible book there yesterday. It was, yeah, I'm gonna stop by. Also, want to acknowledge if yesterday was a lot of in and out and breaks and long conversation activity, today is the opposite. Today is a tech or designer run for the first day of that you land at a new venue on tour, fast, chaotic, and a strong, clear dive of switching activities with frequency. So
We on
we
board?
ask that you join us on that ride.
We're on board? We're getting on the train? Yeah? Okay. At this moment, I just want to hear a little bit in 1 or 2 words, friends, in 1 or 2 words. How are you feeling? What are you bringing to the space? Any reflections? Any shares?
Not so much. So, I'm grateful to be here, and I hadn't seen Denise in a long time, and I'm so grateful to see some of you that I've just met. Denise, that was the dance I've been wanting to have with you for the longest time. That's my reflection.
Okay, Jose, one of my chopped liver.
I'm grateful to be in a space where my words are taken as my truth, and for people not to be offended and to allow me to speak my truth. So I am grateful for that. And I'm just going to say, on this day, Sunday, October 22nd, 2023, I am grateful for my life as a breast cancer survivor. I am grateful.
1 or 2 more? Anybody?
We also want to offer that if you do not have reflections at this moment, we will have space and time to reflect and have questions as we go throughout.
Thank you, Severin. I did just grab the Post-its. I want to bring your words in another way as well. We have one of possibility. Of possibility. Grateful for NET founding of our non-traditional theater ensemble project. Nepantla, tell me how to say that better. Nepantla, a word meaning in between worlds. It is painful and it is a place. Of possibility! That's the quote, thank you. How do my needs connect with others' needs? These were some of the words you all shared with us yesterday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Which is an apropos framing of what we're digging into today. So we're glad that you are intuiting the space that we are diving into.
All right, now that we've located ourselves, I'd love to give a little bit of space to Kaylee Quinn to talk about the graphic note-taking, a journey you have taken us on and will continue to take us on. You want to come on up, friend?
Good morning, everybody. I used to take notes. I think that let me say this. Net has taught me how to listen and how to hear and how to realize when I've been hearing or listening in one way, or the rubber band has been like a little limp over here and needs to be stretched out to include all these other words and truths and imaginings. And in that way of listening, long ago when I was on the netboard, I would take, outlined notes, very organized, computerized things. And it was one way of listening and understanding and taking in that information. But little by little, I realized that I don't think in outlines, I think in relationships and letting things be next to one another and be a collage of whatever that looks like when we put the pieces next to each other but don't try to figure them out. And so the notes that you see around the edge of the room came from the NETneXt sessions that led up to this moment. And they're all an invitation to just be able to see what was living next to each other in those moments of small group conversations. And I hope that they can be an access point for you, because they definitely help me to take in the conversation in more of like a visual, physical. I say I'm visical, which I guess is visceral. All of the things next to each other. So I just wanted to quickly lift up some of the words that came out of one of those sessions. And again, letting words from probably 15 people were in this session, being next to one another and imagining what a future moment might look like in their ensemble, a dream moment. And so taking all of those words and putting them next to each other after that call, this is what came out for me. Many ways to think of, to become a circle, an intergenerational invitation, a little outside myself and outside of time, generously present with collective care for this moment of cultural change. As sites of interdependence, a multiplicity of voices with different metrics of success, beyond a capitalist productivity model on our divine timeline, ready for wisdom from unexpected places. Seeing the field as an organism, a spice rack, soaking in the sun, connected by aquifer veins, audiences as not separate, fragile, precarious, darkness as brilliance. Elders, decentering whiteness, supporting and supported, healing within and without, a restorative practice, shared paradigms beyond harm and not overnight. Listening and processing from the bay and the lake, the rural desert, cackling over dreams, the joy of the alternative, gratefully becoming song.
Thank you so much. Y'all, I usually don't like to read from a script, but we had so much to pack in. If you will forgive me, Severin and I are going to read from the script. All right. This is our framing for today. Hold on, transparent facilitator moment. The online facilitators need something. Okay. Nicole, it's in half an hour. They'll need you to open the room. Half an hour. All right. So, first of all, thank you for jumping on a train that intentionally didn't tell you where it was going and why.
Thank you for your shared. Thank you for your shares, your deep listening, your offerings, and your generative disagreements.
We called our first session on Friday night a return. But for many of us, maybe even most of us, this has been a first. This was the first time many of us on the Bridge Ensemble have ever met each other in person after 12 months of working together. This was also our first time meeting so many longtime Net folk. This might have been your first time meeting the brilliance on the ground here in Bolbancha. Maybe it was the first time re-encountering someone who you met 28 years ago this summer.
Maybe we'll take that just a step further. This might be some of our first times encountering or releasing or letting deep, long-held grief surface.
I feel mine beginning to rise, but not yet shed.
As we all move too fast, doing too many things just to keep our spaces, our taco trucks, our circles, our productions, our offices living, breathing, surviving, some of us are seeking restoration, others, transformation. There is space for all. Some of us need the space and time for, as Lauren mentioned, trauma growth.
But the good news is we are going to bend time today together and allow it to unfold in such a way that we won't have to bear the weight alone. Because today is not the end of the conversation. It is, in fact, the beginning. This isn't a conference where we're just repeating and shouting our same calls for change, expecting new answers but not receiving them, and trying to figure out what is broken and what we need to fix. This is a seeding of the work ahead for the Net community for the next several months. After today, we move into work circles around the themes that we have been investigating and that emerge from our time here this weekend. We hope you will move forward with us in a capacity that feels right for you.
Big question. What needs to be built that your ensemble should not have to focus on building as your ensemble, but is a fundamental need for you to thrive? This is the gap that Net, and I mean all of us when I say that, can co-create together.
That's right.
Yes.
One more time.
Big question. What needs to be built that your ensemble should not have to focus on building as your ensemble, but is a fundamental need in order for you to thrive? That is the gap Net, all of us, can co-create together.
And I want to pause here to make sure that's landing, because the question isn't, what do we all need to thrive? You are all building your thriving worlds. But what is the gap that your ensemble cannot do for itself, that only we can do in community? That's the gap we're trying to fill. Yeah? We're here? We're located? Yeah. So here we are.
We are here.
That's right. We have hopefully built enough trust and goodwill through our activities over the last 2 days to engage in the work at hand. Co-creating a new Net that can serve the ensemble arts field both today and tomorrow. We will consider what would happen if there were no Net, so that we can crystallize the map of what is the work that a collective network of ensembles can do only together and not individually. We need you, we need each other.
Today we'll begin our work individually. We will then move into pairs, into trios, into small groups, and then into one large circle.
We will go back to the individual with design sprints, and into small groups with devising sprints, and then into concentric circles that share a rhythm and seek generative disagreement. Because as we were reminded by someone in this room in our second online circle up, if everyone in your coalition is in agreement, your coalition ain't broad enough. Yeah? Anything else you want to add or say, Severin? Anything anybody in the room needs to add to this? Yes.
By the way, it's fabulous to see you. It's been a while. So I wasn't here yesterday, obviously. There were some other local things. But so a couple of years ago, if I may, Steve Bailey, who you saw here with the NPN on Friday, who's a fabulous, beautiful human being, asked me and a couple of other people, artists associated with the NPN, some number of years ago, they said, Jose, and I think Kathy was in a room, and I forget, we were talking about New Orleans. And he said, what is it that you need the most? I said, we could all use an administrator that can do the administration work that we are all basically engaged to do and bound to do, because that's what I personally find so exhausting. With my ensemble, nobody wanted to get involved in writing the grants. I wore those hats, I wrote the grants, I set up so many things. But if there's any way, and I know this is maybe just way out there, some figuring of like an administrator that can collectively do some of the work that we are like fettered by, like we're trapped by.
Makes perfect sense. Shared co-op models, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up, because our activity today, our main drive, is going to be a designing and a devising sprint, where you get to brainstorm on your own all of the ideas and needs you'd like to have happen, and then together we're going to create mini plans. So start thinking about all those things you've always wanted and think are necessary, and we're going to get to it. So start holding them. Cool? All right, if you all will step away from the delicious food, tuck in your chairs, we're going to be on our feet and talking to each other in small groups. I'm going to guide us through the process. Don't overthink it. Your conversations will be ended abruptly by me. Lean into the chaos. Take advantage of the few moments you have to share with someone based on our prompts. Are we ready? All right. Your first prompt is, find someone you didn't yet have a deep conversation with and reflect on what fundamental, necessary thing the world you created or witnessed yesterday that you will never let go of because you don't want to live in a world without it now that you know it. One more time. I know, my prompts are crazy. The simple version is, find someone you didn't have a deep conversation with yet and reflect on something you witnessed or understood for the first time from the worlds you created or witnessed that you will carry with you because it changed you. Okay? Yes, Todd. Listening and reflecting, right? If you want to, you can add in, you gonna share what is something that's been in your body that you wanna carry with you because it has transformed you, okay? Adapt it that way. All right, friends, you have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Okay. 1 more minute. 1 more minute. Thirty seconds. 30 seconds. All right, find a close. Thank your partner for their share. And let's find a way to bring the room to silence. Silence filled with gratitude, promise, and hope. Thank you. Thank you for finding that natural end. All right, friends. You have a next assignment, and that is to find two people, any two people, and find a trio, make a trio. Get into a clump of 3. I won't tell you what we're doing until I see clumps of 3. All right. There's no right or wrong person to end up with, but you will spend 10 minutes with them. I see some single folks that need to get into a trio if you are all right. Raise your hand if you're still missing a part of your trio. Go to a raised hand if you are completing a trio. Thank you. I see a still hand up needs a third. Are we good? We need a third. Can somebody jump in to be a third? Or be a foursome if you need to. Join a trio if you need to. All right. Or be in a pair. We'll leave it here. You got this. All right. You have 10 minutes together in whatever configuration you're in. You have 10 minutes. I am asking you to sit in silence until the right thing comes up. I'm going to ask you to speak out loud words you might have never said out loud, okay? I want you to think about, I want you to share something that you think about obsessively and so often that it's just living rent-free in your head about the ensemble arts field that you just can't seem to crack. What is the thing that you cannot figure out, that you have so many opinions on, okay? It might be a need, it might be an instigation, it might be a burn it all down or a lift it all up. Whatever it is, speak the words out loud for the very first time and release the judgment or the fear that is attached to it. The thing you're scared to say, the thing you're scared to do, whatever that is, it's a process of releasing together. Make it your own, how it fits your trio, okay? All right, 10 minutes. Please feel free to sit if you need. 3 minutes, friends. 3 minutes to come to a close. Final 2 minutes. Final 2 minutes. All right, friends, that is our time. Find the end of your sentence, your offering. In 30 seconds, I'll know we're ready to share because it is quiet. Find a close even if you're not finished. All right, friends, no matter where you are in your sentence, I'm going to ask you to finish it. All right, thank your partners, thank your trio, honor each other, and let's share out. If you need to sit down, please do. We're just going to hear from the room some of the wisdom and the brilliance, okay? Nicole, our fearless hero, is going to take some notes on stickies and might ask for a repeat of your thought or your idea, all right? Who would like to share first? I'm gonna ask, it's not a recap or a summary of your conversation, it's a synthesis. All right? Anybody wanna go first? Synthesis. Half thoughts, okay.
Here's our half thought, our half synthesis. That a lot of us work in different collaborations and ensembles. We're all, and many of us maybe in net, when I say we are passing as being part of just one group. That was one thought. And also that the aesthetic, the idea that, originally that maybe net, the work was very, very different in shape and form and content. And that it's kind of come more towards one type of idea around values that are that the values are coming first in the aesthetic. That's kind of what I got from talking to our group, including that that perhaps it has a certain look and that the certain things that we're supposed to do or should do are becoming first as opposed to the impulse of entering into work. I guess that's kind of, am I representing this right correctly? Okay.
Who else? Try to get it into bullets or
Concepts and drafts talking about the sad state of national funding and lack thereof into the theater movement. Chasing the financial paradigm seems to be a sad road. Then quick pivot in towards like, can we lobby and get a candidate in place to actually get more national funding, which is probably not happening. But then thinking about how that could be happening on a local level and like how we're advocating for ourselves to get public funding for that. And what else am I missing on that? Yes, Carrie, thank you so much.
From the pragmatic to the metaphorical, I'm thinking in the one word I wrote down was flow. And in conversation with Dan from the waterways of Babancha and Mark from the desert, Northern Sonoran Desert, where we have rivers that are always considered rivers, whether there's water there or not. And how do we flow from our moments of shared performative acts that are embedded in values and in community, and how do those values, how does that performance then flow out of our sacred spaces beyond into the ripples of larger community, and how do we find a way in the capitalist structures to follow that flow and communicate what that flow's impact can be.
And last bit is how we're serving community and how community also serves us. So not just the one-winded street of we serve our audience, but how is our audience coming and showing up for us as well, and where's the sacred reciprocity in that work in a non-capitalistic framework?
Thank you. I ask that the next speaker or synthesizer offers something that you're actually really scared to say to this room. I want to challenge us. These are beautiful, necessary, but beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah.
Something I spoke to is how scared I was to come to this gathering, that I would be triggered by just the word ensemble, because I've come to this work from an ensemble that has trained many, many, many people in the US and around the world to do this work, to do ensemble physical theater. And so something I experienced with this ensemble was both be inspired to become and do the work that I do, but also see how the founders, the people who made this, did not practice inside of that small ensemble the values. So there was heartbreak. And I'm so glad I came here, because I've been sitting with that on my own, but also I just feel a container of people. And I've had small, short conversations and breaks. And so how do we reconcile? I don't want to do that, you know? I don't want to be 70 or 80 or 90 years old and, and like have younger people force them to do or to just keep, I don't know. I'm just really sitting, I don't even, it's a half.
It's landing. It's landing. I promise you it's landing. I feel it deep in my bones. But please find somebody to pass it to. I just want to clean up my little accident here, just transparent moment. I did not mean to undermine the shares beforehand. I'm just asking us to keep diving. Apologies. All right.
So I was raised Latino Catholic, which is like post-Catholic. No, which is like double Catholic, like Irish, Italian Catholic, Polish Catholic. And being in a Catholic church makes me prone to confession. It's just, because I was also an altar boy, which is like very heavy. I'm very post-Catholic now. But within the group, that was beautiful, I have been in a not-for-profit arts complex, this industry, for like 30 years, and I find it exhausting, and exhausting, what was the word that we used? Exhausting and what? Exhausting and draining. Yeah. It's a plantation paradigm that's absolutely exhausting, and I'm fucking tired of it, honestly. You know, I'm just saying, that's what we, you know.
Thank you.
But yeah, so that's the model that we're under in general, right? Writing the grants and all of that, so.
Thank you.
Pinche caliente y tanto pinche trabajo. You could
Never
Google
ending.
that
Never
to
ending.
translate.
Never ending. All right, folks, we have time for 1 to 2 more, and then we're going to keep it moving. Thank you, Rad.
Really quick, our flow of ideas went from, is this work actually important in our community, and how is it inextricable from our communities? Tolerance for multiple value systems, especially when they're divergent from ours. Accessibility for not just typical extroverted theater, quote unquote theater people, how to make more accessibility for neurodiversity, for indigenous youth, learning within those communities and sharing those learnings back together at NET. And then accountability to movements. How are we, our work, our ways of working accountable or not to the movements that we proclaim to share values and goals with?
Simply, and with thanks, how do we create safety for Black and brown bodies first? And next, how can we be a washing machine for all the dirty money? With
I said I wasn't going to say anything today. I'm sorry, y'all. I promised I wasn't going to say anything on the mic.
No apologies today.
But, you know, I just want to say, because my concerns are nuanced, because I work with children, but my concern is it's a big one for people of color. And I'm not saying we're the only ones that have that problem. But safety is a basic human need. And co-opting our bodies and commercializing our bodies, it is a colonial paradigm. If I can't bring my children to a public space to show their skills because someone's going to take their picture or have them painted or plastered on a canvas and sell them and have no regard for leaving something. If you do Louis Armstrong's picture, there's a Louis Armstrong Foundation. Did you just commercialize that body? That is still rape and assault, not in the sense of physically, but I am scared because people have this AI. If you're painting, I don't know what you're going to do with my child's image, but this legacy of taking brown bodies and commercializing them without any regard for leaving something, that has to stop, y'all. I can't do my work with my children because I'm too concerned about their safety. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to say nothing, but I got to say that.
Thank you. All right, folks. We are going to move and shift into the next activity, if I have your permission to do so. Yes.
So I think this is just, I think maybe this is a national conversation, but maybe not, because I'm from Portland, one of the whitest cities in the country. And for me right now, when the pandemic started and the George Floyd, Black Lives Matter was everywhere, my phone rang all the time. You know, all the white organizations needed somebody of color to come and talk. And so I did what I could when I didn't feel like I was being tokenized. Now, pandemic has shifted, and it feels like, at least in Portland, I don't know if it's happening nationally, the conversations about DEI work are starting to slow down, and people. So I know the groups in here are doing that work, but how do we make that a conscious effort amongst other organizations and groups, including other theater companies, you know, companies with a lot more money, that sort of thing? That's my big question. So if anyone has answers, please tell me.
Thank you. There's also a lot of those organizations who have still to pay the folks they asked to do those.
I have a transition or a segue. Denise, can I throw it in? Sure. So one of the things that came up in my little threesome clump was a fear, really, and I speak from my own, that intergenerational conversation can't really happen, that there's too much judgment in each direction, too much intolerance in each direction, and too little clarity about the fact that everybody enters conversations in different ways at different times in different places, and what to do about that. And the forgetting and the lack of curiosity on both ends, you know. So what we're doing now is an attempt to stimulate some cross-generational conversation, which seems to be a really important part of moving forward as a community of new, middle, and long-term theater makers.
How about everybody, if you wouldn't mind, everyone just get up. And you know this drill, walk around. Walk around, fill the space. I know there's not that much space, but fill the space. And just freeze for a moment. Take a look around, look for an empty space, and go fill it and walk. And as you pass by, check in with people as you pass by with your eyes. Just, you know, check in. That was great conversations we've had so far. And freeze. We're going to make a line with, on this end of the spectrum, those that have your depth of knowledge over here is with the past, with the experience of the past and depth of knowledge from the past. Oh, it's going to be this diagonal line because we have space.
Yeah, we could do like
and
the
then
spectrum.
Over here is the present. If your depth of knowledge and wealth of information is here, present, a line, again, a spectrum, and over here is beyond, the future. Wow.
And the only thing I would add is it's not about length of time in the field. If you're in the past, you might be a 20-year-old historian. Do you know?
Yeah.
You might be a 90-year-old visionary who only thinks about the future. So this isn't like that spectrum we made that first night about length, or we made a circle, a length of time in the field.
Mhm.
This is really where you live, where you identify,
Where you identify
past,
most.
present, future.
All right, so let's make that line now. And again, the idea is you make a line and have to situate yourself somewhere on that line.
So we're, and talk to each other to see where you belong. Are you guys in the present?
To the present.
Yeah,
So,
you're present
oh,
survival.
and yes, our line is a diagonal. So way over there where Dan is the past. Dan is way in the past.
Okay.
And over here is
I'm
way
showing
in the
present
future.
Too, but within the terror. Here, let's be. Uh-huh. Yeah, I feel that way too. Yeah,
Find
but
a place
I'm
to
not
put
gonna
yourself
be
on the
in-
line.
So see if you can situate yourself in relation to the
Okay.
others.
Yeah, take 10 more seconds. Okay, and now what we would like to do, who's way over there? Raise your hand if you consider yourself at the end of the beginning of time.
The deep in the past.
In ensemble practice, wealth of knowledge, path. Okay, and how many of you are? Raise your hand if you feel that you're kind of in the middle of that, so I can get a sense of the spectrum. And who is future? Okay, what we'd like to do
is so we'll pass the mic, but make an offering, whether it's wisdom, a question, a thought, to someone elsewhere on the spectrum. So from where you are, offer something up to someone who is somewhere else, or to that part of the spectrum.
Either
right?
way.
So
Yeah.
it might be a question, it might be a provocation, it might be a partial thought, it might be a feeling, whatever it is, just we begin to cross time.
and raise your hand so we can give you the mic.
Some of you know our friend Kim Pivia. I was spending some time with Kim last week, and we were meditating on the idea that knowledge is of the past and wisdom is of the future. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I put myself here, although, you know, elder, hi. Future is all I think about, not necessarily entirely on the plane we are living in, but what is beyond that plane. So there's a challenge. Who had a hand up?
I seem to be holding down ends of spectrums all weekend, and as a person who I think is now moving through this wonderful period of like appearing very young and realizing I'm old and accepting the fact that I'm becoming an elder, which is really weird. Also part of my process and why I'm here is I'd like to think I'm a student of the past, and what I encourage myself, especially when I'm on that end of the spectrum, is how am I not forgetting what has happened? How am I learning from everything here? Because the anarchist in me wants to burn all of this down, and it's stupid and it's immature of me. So I'm reminding myself as I think about the future of how am I taking this all forward? How am I learning from it, and also how am I not repeating it, and how also am I honoring it and not forgetting our legacy?
Here.
Okay, Travis and I are standing here in survival mode in the middle. Both feeling the weight of the legacy over there.
Yeah. I think I heard once, maybe it was in Beyonce's Lemonade, the past and the future merge to meet us here. And I have to like really be here, especially, definitely, I'm saying there's a lot of weight right now. There's a lot of like legacy weight happening. And there's also just like, but there's also a lot of future thinking, like how do we also have our own identities within the legacy of such an amazing and beautiful work that's already happened. So that's the future too. It's like we're moving somewhere, but we gotta be right here, right now.
And take care of that, take care of the legacy as well, and how to possibly have space as well for the future.
And I sort of feel on the other side, age-wise, of exactly that. I feel like my work is thoroughly grounded in the past, working in the present in order to uplift the future.
So I really was scared to come all the way over here, but I want to say that this space feels like it's kind of that in between. It links to that future over there. This space for me is about personally feeling like as an immigrant, there was so much force pushing me towards the future and what I would do and I would be the first in this, and I would do this, and I would do that, that I feel I know so much about so many other cultures and practices that I am here in the land of the Mayans and my ancestors, and wanting to really belong there so that I could, so that the future is, we connect in that way, that I'm not rushing towards the future, because my whole life has been about, you have to be better than us, and I don't believe that anymore. I'm not better than my parents just because they don't have master degrees. I want to be, I want to believe this is a place that connects to that future.
So speaking to that, the immigrant experience, I'm getting a chance to recognize, and I'm trying to share with my two boys, my teens that are 14 and one's about to be 17, the importance of abuela, my mom. And I mentioned in the first time, which I rarely mention, because part of me is very personal, because I'm so public all the time. And as a Pisces, I'm very yin-yang, and I'm very public, and I'm deeply personal. But I've been thinking a lot about my mama, because a good friend's mama just recently passed, and he's been heartbroken for a year. And for me, that's like literally one of my fears, because my mama, I wouldn't be here without my mama, because she's so fucking brave, to do what she's done. So hearing that immigrant experience, because first immigrant within the family to go to college, right? First to do all kinds of things. And I've been, so many moons ago, I was writing about the family history, and I do that because it's kind of epic. And I was interviewing my mama, because I go through this docu-theater interview process with many immigrants. And I want to go sit, she's in Florida now, and just put a camera and have her tell me the story. And I'm trying to let my boys know abuela has some serious truths, So fortunately, they're bilingual, because my mom tries to speak English to them. And I always say, no, hablan en español, porque ellos hablan español. But it made me think, as the immigrant, we carry such a serious burden. Literally at the age of 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, I was translating all their real estate documents, everything, business. So I carry that weight, and it's a heavy weight sometimes. And yet I try to bring, I tell my boys, they're the immigrant father's, dreams, right? And we have this dream of being born, they were born in the USA, And so many immigrants come here to have their children here, so that hopefully, there could be some better lives. Anyway, you just spawned that, thinking about that immigrant burden. And here.
I'm standing here at the other end of the spectrum and sending such energy and connection down to Saida as I'm in survival mode at the precipice of the future. As an educator, how do I stay connected to not just the industrialized education system of the US, but the ancestors beyond that take us out of a business model of collective creativity and sharing? And how do I not fail our students by working in this broken system that is training people for a collapsing, antiquated notion of what creativity needs to be in order to be called an artist, in order to be called a theater maker? And I see this incredible spectrum of people working towards a collective goal with different ways of creating come together at this very scary time, trying to hold everything and feeling responsible for what's next. And I am so happy to have that moment to share the fear, the anger, and the shame that I don't understand, and know that all of these people are wishing and hoping and angry and trusting that even though we don't know how, we're coming to a why.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's take a big group breath in and let it go.
I just want to say, we had a scheme and I jumped the prompt, but the wisdom of the group, you covered it all. So, because it was about why are you where you're here, and also what do you offer for each other. So, thank you for that.
And we're gonna, please, that was a lot and it was so beautiful. I just want to thank you all. We're gonna take a quick break.
5 minutes, friends.
5 minutes, hard
I know
five.
that means 8, right? But it's 5. Hard 5.
Stay on.
Bridge Ensemble, if you can meet me at the table, at our morning table, thank you. And music, if you don't mind.
care is not a style, and even Lana Turner smile. Something he can't see. My baby don't care. No. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for shorts, and he don't even care for clothes. He cares for me. My baby don't care. Cars and races. Baby don't care for. He don't care for high town places. Least is not his style. And even Liberace smile. Something he can't see. It's something he can't see. I wonder what's wrong with.
All right, friends, we are back. We are back. We are back. My ask to you is to find a table, a corner, somewhere where you are ready to root for the next 30 minutes. You will need stickies, a pen, and a piece of paper. So share some paper. You can just use stickies if you don't want the paper. Yeah. Everybody will need at least 12 stickies. Or if they have a paper, they don't need the sticky, it's fine. So if you have a notebook and you want to use that, great. No, you'll keep it. Yeah. Oh, you know what, Jeff, you'll need to fold it into 8. So yeah, so you just want to take 8 stickies if that's better. Or you can, we have big stickies you can rip up. Plenty of stickies left, plenty of markers and pens up here if you need it. How are we feeling? We're good and ready? All right. I'm just going to watch until I feel we have the materials we need. I will need some support. I'm going to try to keep my own time. But if somebody can give me a half-hour call in 30 minutes, thank you. All right. Here we go. This is going to be in 3 parts over the next hour, friends, all right? We start with the individual. We'll then map our reflections, our answers together, and then we'll break out into small groups, just so you know where we're going. All right, this session starts by exploring, the session before started by exploring wisdoms of the past, present, and future that you want to bring into focus as we start to imagine and devise that future together. This devising sprint is where we will imagine that Net is starting all over again. not from square one, but building on all that we've achieved individually and as a network, and with the collective assets of our artistry, relationships, knowledge, and other existing resources to draw on. But if we are to radically reimagine a new iteration of NET, an evolutionary version that's rooted in ensemble practice and that's designed with care and intention to address both the world we're in now and our boldest aspirations for what could come next, what would that NET look like to you? What are the essential components needed for it to hold and have value for you and your ensemble, the ensemble arts community, and the larger field? What evolutionary pivots are needed as an organization and as a community to ensure a vital future for all of us? What new potential can be realized? We are going to engage in design and devising sprints. Here are some key ideas to hold on to. Everything is a remix and an improvement of what's come before. Every great invention is built on existing ideas. Do not think you have to make new, as in new, as in new, all right? Sketching is for everybody, and it doesn't mean just graphically. So every time I say sketch out, that could be words, it could be images, it can be muddy concepts. Make it yours. Create concrete Use the sketches to turn abstract ideas and desires into concrete solutions that can be assessed by others. We are going to start by working alone because group brainstorm does not always fit the assignment. We are going to invite ourselves into the luxury of time alone to develop solutions in our own way without influence. Then we're going to share, and then we're going to fuse. Does that make sense as a direction? Fantastic. You have 6 minutes, friends, 6 minutes to privately jot down some rough ideas. I want you, by the end of those 6 minutes, to circle the most promising ones. I'm going to repeat. I need you to privately jot down some rough ideas to all the questions I just went through. What is the new net? What are the solutions? What are our imaginings? Just jot down some ideas, and then we're going to come back together, all right? 6 minutes starts now. Three minutes left. 2 minutes, friends, 2 minutes. Don't judge, just sketch. A friendly reminder that if you are worried about realities, don't. Yes, it is recorded actually. Final minute, friends, final minute. All right, as this minute comes to a close, I want you to take a deep breath. Remind yourself to release the judgment and the editing. We're not in editing yet, friends. We are just in imagining. The next step, it takes 8 minutes. You can either take a sheet of paper and fold it into 8, or you can take 8 stickies. All right, whatever your way is, draw 8 boxes, whatever it means to you, but you need 8 sections, okay? I need you to sketch a variation of one of your best ideas in each frame. If that feels limiting, to pick up to 2 ideas and sketch 4 each, but the idea is you're taking one idea and creating 8 variations. Excuse me, 7 variations, right? 8 total. Yeah, so you want to take your best idea that you just jotted down, the one, let me not use the word best, the one that is tickling you the most, or the one that scares you the most, and now create 7 variations of that idea. For my special friends, you can take 2 ideas, do 4 variations each, but no more, friends. 2 ideas max. All right. 8 minutes, that's right. 8 minutes starts now. 8 minutes starts now. Oh yes, it's 8 minutes because I don't want you to spend more than 1 minute on any variation. Yes. One more time, I'm gonna make it real clear. You just jotted down some ideas, pick your favorite idea, and you're gonna create 8 variations of it. Spend no more than 1 minute on each of those variations. It could be approach and style, concept, scale, right? Okay. If it relieves the pressure, you will not have to share your 8 variations. These are yours if it releases the fear. 5 whole round minutes remain. You have a luxurious 3 minutes left. Final minute. This is your final minute. Your minute has completed. That was 8 minutes. Come to the close of that genius. All right. Join me in a breath. I can feel the warmth of these ideas heating up the room. Ahora arrancamos, friends. We are coming now to our final 6 minutes of individual brainstorm, and that is the solution sketch, okay? You have 6 minutes to create a 3-part storyboard. So that might be 3 stickies, whatever that means to you, okay? Here are the rules. Make your solution sketch that is told in 3 panels self-explanatory. As if you had no time to explain it, what would need to be there? Ugly is okay, words matter, and title it. That's all you have to do in 6 minutes. Pick your favorite solution from the 8 variations. You get 3 beats to create it in a way that we could understand it if you weren't to present it. Give it a title. Are we clear? Question, yep, clear. All right, 6 minutes starts now. Correct. Yes, thank you. You can title your 3 parts as one title, or you can title each third. Correct, only 3. So it's not 3 variations, it's an expanded version of one of your variations. You get 3 beats to share it. And if you do it wrong, it's okay. It's okay. Your version, best version. First thought, best thought. Half your time remains. 3 minutes remain. 3 full minutes. Final minute, final minute. Okay, start to come to a close to your 3-part sketch. Due to time, I'm going to make one slight adjustment, and that is I'm going to ask you, if you are okay with it, to take a photo of your triptych and either email it or text it to me, just so we capture it for posterity. If you need my number, I'm going to pause and wait. I just don't want to lose this brilliance if we don't get to all share. All right? So my number is 312-237. 0878. Correct. 13 Chicago winters earned me that area code that I will never let go. I'll give you all 1 minute to document, all right? Already got my first one, thank you. If I can get a bridge ensemble member to help me start mapping as we hear our shares. And what I mean is, as we hear ideas, start seeing what similar themes emerge that we can group together for our small groups. Does that make sense, friends? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, on any of these, doesn't matter. Yeah. Stickies are directly on the page. Let's just use gratitude and offerings, if that's all right. All right. The idea here is we're going to hear your final solution. I leave it to you on how to share. Please make your share no longer than a minute. We're going to map like themes. So once we hear from everybody who wants to share, you do not required, we're going to identify 3 to 5 shared themes and choose which breakout based on that theme, that you're going to build a plan together, combining your solutions for the new net. Does that make sense? Thank you. Share your first draft idea. All right. First draft idea. Does anybody want to share first?
Be selfish about self-care and self-love. We all deserve to be rejuvenated. We all reserve rejuvenation time to time. Think of self-care as administrative or creative work requirements. You can't pour from an empty pitcher.
I'll just jump in and encourage everyone else to go after me. I've been thinking about a lot of our conversations, specifically about the support that we need. And I was really, what resonated with me this morning was Jose's thought of like, wouldn't it be great if there was some kind of centralized office? And I think about the work with an ensemble, and I think about the things that people ask me all the time about what I do, which I think I'm a rare jigsaw puzzle of, Nick's not here to contradict me. I don't find myself as a generative artist a lot, but I find joy in the administration of the work in a very true way while I am also artistic. So I thought about what would it be like if Net was kind of like the administrative ensemble that could plug in the gaps of all of us that don't want to do some of that shit. And I think about all of the departments that I've traveled through that I like kind of loathe to do sometimes. So like for instance, general management, development, finance, and marketing are the 4 departments that I feel like none of us or a lot of artists kind of have a very steep learning curve or aversion to. And what happens if there was a centralized place of, hey, I need help with contracts and letters of agreement. Or for those of us like me who actually get down on that stuff, it's like, I could really help with marketing. And the idea of like a centralized social media person, or flat out finance and budgeting and dealing with your 990. And then that got me into a practical model of what happens if, what would it look like if Net was a fiscal sponsorship, but better than Fractured Atlas, who could offer something as opposed to a 10% cut of your general operating budget moving towards like a 5% cut, maybe even a 3%. And like how that could be balanced in terms of like plugging in the administrative needs of a lot of our ensembles and filling in those gaps. And then broadening that in terms of who we're serving as ensemble, and not necessarily just artistic folk, like we all are, I think, in this room, but where are the activists? Where are we supporting other people in ensemble-based practice that do not necessarily produce our little shows, but who are doing things deeply within an ensemble practice, like a pirate radio station, or water conservation, or water literacy, or environmentalism, and how also, frankly, there's flat out more funding for that work, which can then feed into the fiscal sponsorship model of like, well, we're all competing for a $5,000 grant, but you know, people out in the world who are like ending childhood literacy or, you know, off the grid, like, you know, light grid projects, I'm like, there's funding for them in that other sector. So it could be kind of this larger pool, and we could spread out this, spread out the community in our network and align ourselves with people based on ensemble-based practice and not just necessarily we devise work.
I just got to jump from there. It felt natural. In being here and also the work that we have been engaging with at Double Edge and being at Catapult Space and having the conversation the other night and also what we were talking about last night with, I've been thinking a lot about the justice work that's happening, and especially hearing about the solar seeing the solar panels that you all had at Catapult, and talking about like emergency relief. I've been thinking about everyday relief, and I think that was something that was talked about yesterday. Like, it's only when emergencies happen that sometimes activation happens, and so I've been thinking about like everyday relief as opposed to emergency relief, but also that like it feels like right now, and I don't know because I'm not so much in the past, as I was saying, I'm in the present. It feels like a lot of people are reshifting towards like justice work and how ensemble-based theaters are seeing that and working with that. So the title for this was Everyday Relief, the Growth from Emergency Relief. The solution, I pulled a quote from Dr. Alexis Pauline Gumbs, her book, M Archive, After the End of the World. Freedom is not a secret, it's a practice. Yeah.
I also went down the rabbit hole of cross-sector work and cross-sector gathering being the kind of the big thing I was working with for today, and gathering with purpose and what that meant in terms of just hearing in the room the amount of capacity issues and exhaustion, and what it would look like to have like, you know, the NET task force that swoops in to help with the barn raising or whatever it is that that particular NET member needs support in and needs capacity help in. That is like sometimes just physical, like all the things from this garage need to be moved into this garage and I have no one to help me lift it and I can't lift things because I'm injured or whatever it is, that there is some kind of actual net of support that is there to really keep track of the membership and what they need and who's out there. And that if we can continue to strengthen the pathways between the different members so that no one falls behind or falls through the net. Kind of look at those. It's different for every organization where there's a moment that the whole membership could mobilize and, you know, raise a barn, metaphorically, or...
Muriel was next, and then...
Oh, I just wanted to say that what comes to mind is craft all the time, and what craft means with Native values, and how we see things and how we approach things. And I would like to say that in standard practice with all ensembles is that we are not, when we're talking about our traditional practices and our traditional values, that we put that directly into our work. I know my organization does. So last night we had a conversation about consensus and how a lot of these big institutions want to learn what consensus means, right? And not understanding it's not something you can learn in a course like EDI. What for consensus is a way of being, and it's a way of being brought up. And it's very hard to teach Western minds and Western frameworks and what collective consensus means. It doesn't mean it's a free-for-all for everyone to do what they want. There is a hierarchy, because there are hierarchies in Native societies. We're using those colonizational words because we as Native people, we're not speaking our native tongue, right? But what we have is our value systems. What we have is our clan systems, our band systems, and our chief systems. And we take from that, or what I do is, or what my family has taught me from Spider-Woman, is taking those values and putting that collective consensus and using that in the same way, not always politically, but using that in a theater piece. So yes, there's a director. Yes, there's a stage manager. Yes, there's writers and there's actors, but we are all in the same boat, let's say, and we're all, if we go to the two-row wampum, what does that mean? We're all on this river together, and all of us individually are in different canoes, but we are all on the same river, to the same path to get to the end of it, whether that is a production, whether that's fundraising, whether those values. So what I titled it is, what do the methodologies of oral traditions mean to us? And I believe that the oral tradition is the seed. I believe that storytelling is the tree, and the theater is the forest. And that is how a lot of us approach it. And it's not one way. You can't talk to one Native person and say, oh, that's, this Native person says that. It's all these individual ways. There's over 5,000 tribes that have 5,000 different ways, 5,000, more than that, right? And the other thing is to respect our grief and pain. When you weigh in on what is going on in our communities, what happens is I see a lot of these, doesn't matter, a lot of non-people of color come into our communities and they weigh in. And soon as you say, look, white person, do not weigh in on this, you're a racist. And I think those values, that needs to be put in if I was having a say.
No, I'm going to try to be really quick. I went with gathering, been brought up. I think it's vital that we embrace and support the educators in our space, that we help facilitate circles of communion and conversation to crack isolation, that we listen to them, visit them, offer to mentor students online, whatever is needed to help teach this for future generations, respect them, free ourselves of the trauma of our college years, and to really pay attention to what is ahead, and to encourage a series of field reports and case studies that can be done in classrooms.
This is delicious. We're going to go for another 5 minutes to see if we've heard enough to identify some shared themes. I want to invite you to trust the words you chose that labeled your sketches to be enough to communicate, and then we will dig if we need to. So think about your sticky titles. All right, take it away.
Net Crisis Hotline. A council of Net members are paid to train in healing resources for Net ensembles. Challenges can include harms from, with, or by inter-ensemble, community partners, collaborators. That's as far as I got.
Amazing, thank you. What that reminded me of, I just want to lift up something from Lauren Turner-Hines really quickly. She told Severin and
I'm gonna pick up on that as soon as you're done. Say it, because then I'm gonna share mine.
Lauren wants to be a death doula to theaters that need to transition. These are things we need to think about, an offering. All right.
And on that note, mine was sunset, structures and celebrations for programs, transitions, departures, a clear shared vision of what is changing, pathways in and out. At each step, we are winning.
I just want to say that I'm really big on this idea that Shoshana brought out. Literally, I'm a big fan of Carlos Uriona and Double Edge Theater. I've known them for a while. Like if I could get flown over there and they need me to help, I go there and help. Literally, go there and do some physical help. I think that's, to be able to have that access is really brilliant. I'm in this point where I am now reinventing. I'm a big fan before that of the poet, Mexican poet, Manuel Blanco, who wrote this fabulous poem, El Tribu, the tribe. And I've been reimagining. I'm not a big fan of the word ensemble, and I refer often to, based on my mentor, Guillermo Gomez Peña, creating ephemeral ensembles, but I really am more migrating towards the word tribal collective, because that's really what's more intrinsic to me, tribal collective. And I wrote tribal collective and new strategies for petitioning funds and figuring that out. But I like tribal collective personally, just because ensemble to me is very Eurocentric. The same way Devising. I got into a really fabulous conversation with Jeff about our despise for the word devise, because I despise the shit out of it. Straight up, it's a Eurocentric term, and even when I write for the NEFA grants, I tell them how devised is Eurocentric and predominantly white. I work with tribes of artists, tribes of people. So, but I really love this idea of like in the network and the crises, just because we all go through different crises, right? And so, like already up to this year, I've probably written 10 grants, and I'm batting 300. I got 3 out of the 10, right? So if I'm batting 300, I feel happy.
We're going to do one, yep. Just so you know what's coming up next, we're going to do a check-in with Rad to hear what themes have emerged. We'll ask you if we have not captured one, and then we will break out around those themes.
I thought a lot about accessibility and how our ensemble practice can be more open to both people with accessibility needs, mainly I work a lot with elders, so I think about how our ensemble practice can be more open to elders and how our ensemble practice can bring the work to where people are. I'm really thinking a lot about that. I'm thinking about that in how, we were talking a little bit about in disasters, how we can bring work to these places that are trying to recover, how we can bring culture into the disaster equation, but how we can expand our ensemble practice, how NET can help us to bring the work to where people are, to create work where people are. I think a lot about what Kathy does with LCIW in the prisons, and how that's a very pretty radical way to go in and really work with people where they are, and where ensemble practice can really change people's lives. And I've witnessed that too.
Yes, and then also thinking of like what it means for future planning, especially when it comes to intergenerational leadership. Looking around the space and recognizing, are there actually youth in here, giving their thoughts and inputs, what they want, what they need. Are there elders in space too? Is that conversation happening? Looking at chaos as a place of creativity for those conversations. Because they're just equally as important to hear from the youth for what they want for their futures.
All right. We were able to make 3 categories to hold what folks brought up. If you don't feel your perspective can be represented in any of these 3 containers, shout it out. So the first one would be cross-sector collaboration, and solidarity for funding with admin and back-end support. 2 would be mobilizing membership for wellness, capacity building, the net catching.
The bat signal.
Yes, the bat signal. And then the third one would be community learning and mentorship, within which falls accountability, hotline, accessibility. Yeah. Anything, what do y'all think? Do the containers contain what we said and leave room for more?
Guess we just haven't really talked about the elephant of the money and the regranting organization that NET was. That was very valuable to a lot of the members, I think,
I think that falls within the cross-sector collab and solidarity for funding, admin, back-end support one.
Awesome. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to say was just the NET staff itself and the capacity building within that, and the rest for those that have been pushing through all of this. Alicia.
Number 3 is community learning and mentorship, under which was accountability, accessibility, and all the things that were within those, and like recruitment. And the staff admin stuff was within the first one of back-end admin. Maybe those are 2 separate ones, like cross-sector collab and solid funding, and then separately as admin, fiscal sponsorship, staff. So it's
Agreed.
4 containers.
All right, let's take a breath. Let's take a breath. So here's what is going to happen, my friends. Tell me if this is the right instinct or not. We are going to break out into these 4 containers for about 10 minutes. I know it's no time. I know that. And you are going to make a 3-year plan. No, could you imagine? But that is where we will be going after this weekend. But this idea, for 10 minutes, I want you to get to the grain in as few words as possible about the actions and the structures that would be required for the core idea of the group. Does that make sense? Great. Try to stay away from how it has been, how you have experienced it, and let's stick to what are we building, okay? The 10 minutes will really be 15, but I need you to move as though they are 10, okay? So let's make our areas. Can we say, can you guide us?
Yeah. So number 1, container number 1 over here. Cross-sector collaborations, expanding notions of ensemble, solidarity for funding. Over here. And then number 2 would be admin, back-end support, staffing, fiscal sponsorship model. Number 2 over there, where Dante is. Number 3 over there, community learning and mentorship, within which falls accountability circles, wisdom sharing, accessibility workshop, and learnings. Hotline, do we think hotline falls under there or under, Oh yeah, that's the next one. Thanks. Number 3 is mobilizing membership for wellness and capacity building. Yes, hotline under that one. And raising the barn, catching emergency bat signal, catching things in the net. 3. Did I say all 4? I'm sorry, my paper got out of order. That was 4. So number 1, cross-sector collab and solidarity for funding. Number 2, admin, back-end support, fiscal sponsorship, staff. Number 3, community learning and mentorship, accountability, accessibility. And number 4, mobilizing membership for wellness, capacity building, hotline, bat signal. Do we need it one more time, or are we good? Yeah? One more time. Over here, number 1, cross-sector collaboration and solidarity for funding, widening our understanding of who ensembles are. Number 1. Number 2, admin, back-end support, fiscal sponsorship models, staffing. Number 2. Number 3, community learning and mentorship, accountability, accessibility. And number 4, mobilizing membership for wellness, capacity building, net signal, that's the one, it's the net signal. Yeah?
Thank you, Rad and Dante. I'm going to remind us of what the goal is here. It is not to solve the problem. It is to identify some of the solution sketches you created that fit into this grouping and create what we need to build to carry out the idea. We are building the starting draft of a plan. 2 minutes, friends, 2 minutes. One more minute, friends, to wrap it up. 1 more minute. All right, my friends. In an effort to be superheroes, we are going to try to do something together, so please start to bring your final thought to a close. I'm gonna calm my energy because I'm all pumped. I'm way too pumped. I'm way too caffeinated. All right, friends. I'm gonna wait until the room comes to a silence. All right. Please draw to a close so that you can process the instructions. All right. Here's what's going to happen. As individuals or as your small group, I want you to take 3 minutes and write down some bullet points and text them to me. This way, let me actually tell you what we're about to do. We are about to come into concentric circles for 30 minutes to reflect out about the whole weekend and specifically these ideas and conversations right here. Okay? So I want you to have a little time to prep so that we are speaking from the most clear place possible about what has come to the surface. So one more time, you're gonna have 3 minutes. Jot some bullets down for yourself or for your group, and you're gonna text them to me, or at least hold on to them. And then we're gonna spend 25 minutes in concentric circles, reflecting out and capturing. Cool?
And if you could, please title your bullet points too. Write a title for the group that you're in.
Final minute. Final minute. All right. I know there's no way you completed your task, but a reminder, please text me some bullets. This is not the end. We will be synthesizing all of this work in some circles together. Bridge will take it away, put it together, and share it back out after this convening over the next 2 months. So please do not feel the urgency to get it all right now. I'm going to ask you to come to a close no matter where you are, and I'm going to hand the mic to Nana Fofie to just shake up our energy before we circle up again. Thank you.
Ago. Thank you. That is, as I hear so many already knowing, just a call and response of attention. Ago.
Please, some respect, folks, please.
It's quite all right. I know we're in some deep discussions, some important discussions. So, as came up on Friday, I believe it was, we talked about how sometimes we got to meld into the systems. So right now we had to shift into systems thinking and administrative thinking and structures thinking. So let's be in the practice, and this is always my invitation, how do we also bring it back to the body, to the vision, to the song, to the imagination. So first of all, if you feel called and able to do, first of all, getting up and just giving a little shake. A shake is always called for, a shake. And then we'll do some more closing and gratitude, but for right now, just, again, letting everything both download all of the information that you have been doing, but also in a way that is synthesized with the body, with the spirit, and with the imagination. So another just quick call response. So, Oof, oof, oof. Oof, oof, oof. Ah, ah, ah. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. That is also the language of everything you've just done. Thank you.
Deep thanks, deep appreciation. All right, friends, con calma, con calma. What we are going to do is if I asked you to lead the first share out, I'm going to ask you to bring a chair and create the first inner circle here. If I have tapped you for a share out. And I don't think I got Yeah? Okay. Now, around this inner circle that's being built, yes. we are all going to sit around the inner circle with a chair, or however we want. So start bringing them over. Let's build a second circle. This is a practice of concentric circles. Bring your chair around, 2 clear circles, maybe a little more space between the inner and the outer. Yeah, thank you. So a little more space, pull a little out. Yeah. If you are the outer circle, let's just give walkway. Let's give walkway, because what's going to happen is we're just starting with an inner circle, and as we hear shares, people are going to tap in and tap out, right? So that everybody has a chance, if they want to speak, to speak. The container, yes, please keep building our outer circle. Thank you, yes. We've had 12 ideas about these circles, so yes, I don't know if a third circle will fit, but let's try. So the idea is the fullest, most outer circle is a place only for listening. All right? The inner circle is holding the heat of the conversation, and the middle circle is listening and offering. Any circle can tap in or tap out. Follow me on this metaphor. The idea is by the end of this conversation, we should all be in one outer circle. So without direction, again, you can tap in, you can tap out, but as these tapping ins and tap outs happen, we are going to expand the 2 inner circles to merge with the outer. Okay? If that is distracting, let it go, but we are going to try. So the container for our conversation is this. We're starting with share-outs from the exercise so that we can document and capture. We will synthesize the notes you're sharing us after this event. I promise the work is not going nowhere. Through the course of the conversation, the idea is that it'll go from these share-outs and the conversations we just had into the fullest conversation we need to have. If there are things that feel they have not been said or spoken in this room this weekend, this is the time. The idea, my dream, is that we end in a full outer circle because we have left nothing unsaid and we have all reached a place of just listening. Clear? We have 25 minutes. Let us begin.
Okay. Our group was over there, and I'm gonna say I think we really embrace the idea of the net being a net, and how does net really serve as a net for its ensemble theater members and the world at large. Some ideas that came, a first conversation, oh wow, was around a need for space and how can ensembles that have space be a resource for ensembles that don't have space, and talking about regional possibilities there. That came from a friend in New York, and I mentioned NACL, other friends in New York. And then there was an amazing image of a mobile bus that serves the different watersheds of the net community. And the people who go on that bus are people who are trained in jumping in and doing whatever ensemble theaters need at that moment, whether it's moving something from one barn to the next, or helping with marketing and getting the word out, or I didn't add this in, but I'll add it right now. Perhaps the bus people are trained in the emergency crisis hotline issues that surround de-escalation, healing from harm, those things. There's also Atha came in, and my brother from North Carolina shared that we spoke about the possibilities of people being on this bus being a similar model from what Bob Leonard in Virginia encouraged several of his students, including Alicia Tonsick and Ashley Sparks, who gave herself that kind of, she became her own bus, going around to different ensemble theaters around the country as part of her final work for her MFA with Bob. And just jumping in and helping whoever was needed at the moment. So, you know, that idea is there, and that there's perhaps a hunger for people coming out of a college program to figure out where do they want to be and how do they want to serve, and where is their place in this, and what is their practice in this. And help me, Severin spoke of sunsetting, but not just sunsetting, but celebrating every aspect of where we are in this work. I want to go back to Carlos for a moment and say that in his position on Atha, he shared that not many people there know what devised or ensemble or tribal theater is. And so visibility is a huge thing for us to be thinking about, that if we need help and if we want to train other hungry spirits how to do this work, we need to get the word out about ourselves. And then Mama Queen Reese shared that for her, this net space was something that she hungered for, that she, as a Black theater maker working in Black traditions, New Orleans traditions, she had felt excluded by many other theater net entities, but that net has become a home for her.
Thank you, Kathy. Someone please pick up the mic. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Carlos?
Thank you. Now, just a friendly reminder, and whoever, so now you can step out. Who would like to take this? One reminder, I would just want to encourage us to hold this truth. You do not need to report out the fullness of your group. Thank you. I know we want to honor the stories. I want to get us to like the sticking point, right? The thing we can hold on to as a thread that connects. Do what you want with that. All right.
Thank you. I was in, our group was the Community Mentorship Accountability Group. The conversation was about the exhaustion of indigenous and also native, we refer to different words, and people of color, of being tired. So that was the feeling, just being tired sometimes of giving and not being listened to. We talked about what it would look like to, and we narrowed these things to these 5 things, to sit with institutional discomfort that are read as truths. And to me, it came from like this vision of what if primarily white institutions, and I asked this of one of the institutions I worked with, what would it be like to to ask for money so that the white bodies sat with their truth. My experience as a person of color was always that it was like the white institutions are doing this for me, that I needed this. Oh, we need to do this for you. No, you don't need to do this for me. So that came out of that truth that I really wished for that day when all of us will position ourselves in relationship to power and just be willing to sit with what that means for you individually. Teaching the harm of unteaching cultural fracking is our second bullet point. Number 3, ancestral learning as intergenerational learning and unlearning. Number 4, teaching/learning through way practices. Number 5, the promise of a network, not just an organization. Purpose of and in connection, learning together, micro ensemble.
Fantastic. Ubícate. Locate yourself. Thank you.
Our group, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Our group was really talking a lot about cross-sector collabs and funding and bridging. If sector is a label for resources to flow, we believe in utilizing these labels to subvert them. Ensemble theaters as being translators between worlds of academia, frontline, environmental humanities, indigenous communities, etc. Welcoming non-ensemble theaters into NET, really to do with this cross-sector wisdom and the energy of that wisdom. It came up that the Net10 exchange grant that is or was, or I don't know, but was really important for the group in terms of this cross-sector work. It also came up that Microfest, which was really around place-based and was really a lot of cross-sector work happening at those festivals, so that's also seemed really important to us. Yep.
I was in the fiscal sponsor circle, which was kind of fun because it was 3 of us. So it kind of speaks towards some of the gaps that I see. But one idea is, what if NET were serving as a fiscal sponsor, offering that kind of service up like a fractured atlas, but at a better price with more attention towards its constituents? What if NET staff could serve as an administrative ensemble to plug into the gaps of all of the ensembles that I see around us that could need it within general management, development, finance, marketing? That's pretty much it. And this is also coming from Jose's idea of like, what would it be to have like an office? What would it be to have that type of administrative support? And also just the idea of a fiscal sponsor that could care or that would understand our needs more. And also just the continual thought of how we're broadening the circle and expanding what our idea of ensemble-based practice is for any number of reasons, but that we can expand it to not just being quote-unquote theaters.
Thank you, Inner Circle. You have now been sunset. We have 2 circles left. Who would like it? All right.
One of the things that we were also talking about was the idea of NET has always declared itself not a service organization, and I think there's curiosity about what would happen if NET reinvented the service organization model according to its values and modes. So fiscal sponsorship might be just a tip of the iceberg. But that whole idea of where we could help each other fill in gaps, and there are a lot of people with a lot of skills in this room and in the larger NET circles, and there are people whose roles are shifting, and one of the things I've been particularly thinking about is elders in the ensemble theater world who have a lot of skills, have led organizations, don't want to do that anymore, and would like to. There is a worker bee component to this that I think might uplift a future.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you. Pass that mic to someone, or I shall help you. I just wanted to add in on the flip of that, we have so many fabulous elders who are ready to be worker bees. We also have fabulous elders who need us to hold them, to feed them, to nourish them, and to honor them. Anybody else?
So I think I'm thinking about, from this conversation and the conversation we had about accountability. I'm tired of teaching, and I'm tired of being asked to teach for little or no pay. And so I wonder if there are resources somewhere that can be shared out to have people do their own research. And that to understand, like, devising is iterative, right? We create, we discuss, we examine, we recreate, we just keep sort of mining that processes that we put into place, like a land acknowledgement, can also continuously be.
Support organization when George Floyd died with black theater makers said, we see you, New York, and New York, for all, I grew up there, they have some serious problems in the Northeast. But anyway, so support systems came out to help support and sustain black theater practitioners, theaters across the country. With Jose Luis Valenzuela at the LATC, Rosalba Rolón from Pregones, Su Teatro with Tony Garcia and other folks, actually elders who had in the theater establishment, many of them 40 and 45 years, like Gala Hispanic Theater, a lot of people don't even know. I was invited to be part of this consortium because Mellon was offering some millions, and they offered some million. My first question was like, is that all? And people were like, come on. They offered $5 million, all right, straight up. It's like, come on now, it's Mellon Foundation. You're making the money from our blood. So I have a tough time believing that inside the belly of the beast in a country that loves to fucking go to war at the drop of a hat right now, like Biden said, we can handle 2 wars. There's wars all over. Like, this city is in a war zone right now. Our people are dying here. So as I was trying to create theater, and I said this to Amber, if I may, and I know I gotta go. In working, I created day laborers theater. I've done it with undocumented folks. And we were developing this one project, and one of the organizers said, Jose, right now we gotta pull people out of deportation because ICE is brutal. We don't have any moment to go and make the theater that you want, that we wanna do with you. Because that's the reality. And I've been documenting the undocumented for the past 10 years in the cities of Tulsa, New Orleans, Houston, Minneapolis, Houston, 5 cities, DC, yeah. So forgive me, but I don't have a lot of faith right now in the United States of amnesia, this country, and the fact that we're inside the belly of the beast in a Eurocentric plantation paradigm trying to reinvent the idea of how we're gonna move forward.
All right, I hear that. Here's what I want to share. The movement forward does not have to be in one shape and in one lane. There are those of us who have been so harmed and so disillusioned, we are in the process of grief. And the idea of Ensemble is that there are those who can then step forward with the energy to breathe new life. And we will reach back and we will bring you when you are ready. That's my response. I hold all of that. I also hold that we can actually change. I do. Do you? That's all right. There is enough room for the disagreement. We have 2 minutes. Severin, you got the mic. Bob.
I heard Alicia say that NET needs us. And I think it's a big question because I think a lot of times I think of NET as an organization over there that might be able to help me. Or if it doesn't, then I can support it because I'm loyal. But I don't know exactly how I can act as a part of NET.
And so I want to say a couple of things. The group that talked together was around mentoring or learning together. And I'd like to suggest that we can find a way to start learning with one another across distance and not think that this call is ended when we walk out of here and we are suddenly facing the reality of not being in the same room together. I find that to be really personally important. And in that spirit, with the idea of the Microfest, which is where I wanted to be also in that conversation, I teach at Virginia Tech, which is a large institution. I can assure you that it is not in alignment with the ideas that we've been thinking here. That institution is part of the American empire. Nonetheless, there are people and resources at Virginia Tech which can offer some place to gather with a purpose and a focus and an actual alignment within some people on that campus. And I would like to just say, I would listen to how we can do with NET in that regard around microfests or other ways of gathering. I hope there are other institutions that might be able to partner as well.
I just want to second that, is that I work with three very big institutions in New York City, 2 theaters, and I work, I'm at Brown, which is a very big institution. There's a way I could help in any way that we could do gatherings like this, because those institutions are trying to, let's face it, they're trying to get rid of some money and to say they're doing things for people, so we might as well take advantage of it. We might as well say, because they're always asking, what can you do that's not only Native and only people? So let's, come up with a proposal or something that I can give to the institution I work for and say, here you go. So I put that out there. And well, that's what they're asking. So you might as well take advantage of that, and have more of these discussions.
I have one small thing I wrote down but didn't say. I have an observation about eldership. Everybody in this room is becoming an elder.
I think there are the larger institutions, but also like co-creating the future. Each of us has made a choice to come to this space today. Each of us is on a journey of change. I don't expect to change anybody's mind, nor is that my intention. I have my commitment to change, and right, it's about values, and then this just, again, speaks to cultures that have been, and continue to be coming from a space of values, while we continue to also live inside of a world that's built on isolation. The well-oiled machine of capitalism, colonialism, whiteness, supremacy, all of it. There's just ways. I'm trying to think. Being able to acknowledge the dynamics, acknowledging the dynamics in space. Sorry, I'm just so full. End of thought.
Does it have to be said?
Respect the process of the grief. That's all I have to say. Respect the tears, respect.
Don't make me regret this, Jose.
Why would you say that to me?
on.
Alex, because I'm an immigrant, I hope against hope all the fucking time. My mother is an example of that. So when you ask me about hope, yes, of course I have hope. I wouldn't be getting up in the morning. And it's not, I don't have much hope for the arts complex in the country. The same way I don't, my boys are my only hope for this country, for United States of Amnesia. So, but immigrants, we have hope against hope. Like, you know, my mother's an example of that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. 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 We have gotten to the end of our conversation. I want to tell you where we're going so we can close out in the way we have started. In the next few weeks, you are going to get some synthesis and some invitations to work circles. Maybe they need a different title, but some work circles to continue the work of planning and imagining, because Net is ready, willing, and wanting to completely change its current structure. There is no stone we are going to leave unturned in that change. It's a deep commitment that I hope you feel a part of this weekend. So, don't ghost me when I send you these emails and these invitations. Don't ghost me, all right? There's so much more to be said and to be held, but I feel it in the vibrations in the air, and it is time to turn the mic to those who can help us close the wounds we've opened and begin the steps that we are imagining for our future. All right. They want us here. Absolutely.
I'm just gonna grab the bowl in just a minute. Ooh. Everyone just do a breath. Whew. Offering a shift there. And we're gonna exactly that too. And actually, before I do anything, I'm so honored to be joined by Che.
How are our comfort levels with mask off for singing? Is that all right? Can I get a thumbs of, yeah, not sure, not okay? Keep them up. I want to see everybody.
Oh, sorry, for you or for all of us?
For me to, thank you. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Okay, I tend to not use microphones, but all right, well, in that case. Hello, my name is Che. My pronouns are they and them. I'm really happy to be here with you today for a number of reasons. One, we are in this very sacred space. I know you've already been informed of how sacred this space is, as well as how sacred this space is of Bayou Road. So just wanting to presence that, I always receive an opportunity to be here. Thank you. And I'm also really happy to be with this particular configuration of humans, because I can hear and feel and sense that you've really been digging in, like you've really been asking hard questions, you've been struggling together, and that's what the creative process and world building is about, especially in these unprecedented times. And what I'm feeling in this moment is to just name and I feel like it's probably been named already, but sometimes I need to hear things again and again, that I know my indigenous ancestors of Choctaw and Cherokee Nation and Lakota, that we have survived genocides, we have survived apocalypses innumerable times, and still created worlds out of seemingly nothing. And it's often in the deepest, most fertile dark that we find our way. So this is familiar where we are. We've been here before, yeah. So I think we're just gonna jump right in. We are going to close our circle together. So I can feel a lot just got opened. So we're gonna close it, yeah. We're gonna close. So we're not leaving empty though, right? We're gonna take some things with us. So here's what we can expect in this moment. We're gonna sing together. We're gonna use our voices to charge the air. We're gonna use our voices to pray out what we're leaving behind. We're gonna use our voices to pray in, to call in what we're taking with us. And we're gonna use our voices to close this circle well with intention and care. Can we all agree to do that together? Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna sing. There'll be some sacred water work and reflecting. Nana Fofie will lead us through, and then we'll sing out. And there may be a little surprise benediction coming in from another friend. Yeah, okay. We're good? Can you hear me? No. How about now? Okay. So let's take a breath for each direction once again. Are we still? Hey, Quest, perfect timing. Is it catching this? I don't want to leave folks out on the Zoom. Okay, good. So we're going to close out taking a breath for each direction. And so we're going to actually begin in the reverse. So let's take a breath and ground in the direction of west. Big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. So calling in the direction of water of our ancestral wombs, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. We think the direction of the west. We think the direction of the ancestral waterways and the direction of the south. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, thanking the earth, and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And for the east, the direction of fire, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Thanking the east, thanking the fire, out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the north, the direction of wind, breath, saging, and eldership, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Last one together. Beautiful. So I'd love for us to sing a song that's honoring where you've been together and hopefully offers you some instruction for how to find your way through these really complex questions that you're in. Please join me. It's a song that will have a lot of repetition. Jump in where you fit in. Here we go. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? So we're going to do a call and response now so you can learn with me. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. You can hear what they say if you listen. Put Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across your the stones. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Yeah. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? All together. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? One more time. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. Yeah. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Okay, one more time. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. Put your roots down, put your feet on the ground. You can hear what they say if you listen. 'Cause the sound of the river as it moves across the stones is the same sound as the blood in your body as it moves across your bones. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening? Yeah, y'all sound strong. You sound good.
So, another thing that's been running through this weekend, hopefully running through continuously, has been connection and relationship. And as we go through the difficulties of the process, I want to bring us back to an exercise from Friday night. Does our creativity come from joy, from pain? And allow us to think about the relationship between the two, how they move together, how they dance, the way Denise and Jose were dancing earlier, how we dance together. And mostly connection and relationship with each other. So as we close out, a ceremony, an opportunity, an invitation to gaze on the water, a reflection. So we pass the bowl and take a moment, gaze in, and then offer up to the circle who you are, what you are taking from this space, and what you are offering back to the circle, to this work. And Che, thank you, will accompany us on the bowl as we pass it around in quiet reflection, listening to what is offered and who each of us are.
Pass the mic. Well, bitch. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. Receiving nourishment. and I'm offering nourishment back. Thank you.
I'm receiving reconnection, but I'm offering emptiness.
I'm receiving caring and delicacy and offering love.
Receiving suspension and offering kindness.
I'm receiving the power of speaking my truth, and I'm offering tickles along my spine.
I'm receiving a web of interconnected truths, and I'm offering great heart.
I'm receiving groundedness and guidance. I'm giving calm
I'm receiving the joy and the support of community. And I'm offering love.
I'm receiving wisdom and experience, and I'm offering trust.
I'm receiving learning and giving gratitude.
I'm receiving the presence of a net to fall into when I need to fall, and giving my hands and my wisdom to weave into that net.
Esperando esperanza y ofreciendo esperanza. Offering hope and waiting for hope.
Receiving possibility, offering step back as intentional, deeply desired invitation to step in and step up and make needed and desired change.
I'm receiving the call to work, and I'm offering space.
I'm receiving the patterns of our lives together. And I offer my part in that.
I'm receiving a lot of mystery that's floating, a lot of mystery floating, and I'm offering a lot of grace.
I'm receiving my work is not done. And I'm offering peace.
I am receiving so much history, story, legacy, and love, and I'm offering so much joy, humor, gratitude, and reciprocity.
I'm receiving a lot of visions, and I'm offering gratitude.
I'm receiving renewal, and I'm offering service and love.
I'm receiving stories generously given, and I'm offering the loud silence of the Spirit.
I'm receiving community, and I'm offering service and joy.
I'm receiving